When your kid is being disrespectful, the last thing that's on your mind is connection. And I know that. So I'm not about to sit here and just tell you to stay calm and focus on the relationship. What I'm going to tell you might offend you. And you might even swear up and down that this approach is not for you. But the truth is that what you were taught about respect is probably the very thing that's making things around your house worse. You don't have to tolerate respect. You don't have to let things slide. But if you keep handling it the way you always have, don't be surprised when nothing changes. Disrespect is a common challenge that we all face as parents. It's also a word that gets thrown around and nobody ever stops to question it when they hear it. When I really reflected on what it means when my son is disrespectful, it changed everything about how I deal with it and everything about our relationship. So in this episode, we're going to get into why you might want to rethink your position on disrespect, why being disrespected really pisses you off, and the damage-free way to discipline your child when it happens. You already know that yelling, punishments, and power struggles ain't it. You're ready for something better, and motherhood was not meant to feel like a constant battle, and you don't have to parent the way that you were raised. I help moms let go of harsh discipline and reactive parenting with simple God-led ways to stay calm, manage emotions, and raise kids who feel safe, supported, and seen. Because when you heal, they can heal, and it's time we break these cycles for good. I'm Tanisha, the VBS Life Coach. Let's get into it. The real question is not, why is my kid being disrespectful? It's, what is it about their behavior that's making me feel disrespected? Because let's be honest, disrespect is subjective. What feels like talking back to one parent sounds like advocating for themselves to another one. What one mom calls being rude, another one calls just being honest. And what you think is disrespect might just be your kid being a kid. So before you lose it over their tone, their attitude, or the way they just roll the little eyes in the back of their head, let's unpack what's really going on. When I say disrespect is subjective, I want you to think about this. When you speak up for yourself at work, it's called confidence. When you advocate for your needs in a relationship, that's called setting boundaries. When you have your kid do the same thing, then it's called talking back. Like, make it make sense. That's a clear double standard. And we all do it because we were raised to believe that kids don't have the right to challenge authority. We were raised on because I said so, not critical thinking, autonomy, or respect going both ways. And the thing is, a kid who never questions authority doesn't grow into a strong, wise, independent adult. They grow into somebody who doesn't trust their own voice, somebody who follows the rules even when those rules don't make sense, somebody who won't stand up for themselves when they need to. And I don't know about you, but I don't want my kid to just blindly obey, especially now that he's heading off into Trump's America. I want him to think. So before you correct the behavior, ask yourself, are they being disrespectful or are they just doing what you'd want them to do as an adult? What if your child's disrespect is actually them practicing the same skills you hope they're going to have when they grow up? When your kid doesn't listen, does it feel like they're disrespecting you or like you're losing control? The more that you think about the stuff that's going on in your mind, you'll see that there's a lot more going on than you realize. I wanted John to listen in a moment where he didn't feel like it, but I took that as a challenge. I'm going to tell you the story. So I told him to go do something simple. Go take out the trash. He kept playing his game like he didn't hear a word that I said. And so in that moment, I saw red. I didn't pause. I didn't think. I didn't check myself. I just felt disrespected because in my head, he was challenging me. He was ignoring me. He was making me look weak in my own house. That was something that I wasn't going to let stand. He needed to get up right now, not because the trash just needed to go out, but because I needed to win. And if we're being real, it wasn't about the trash at all. It was about me feeling like I was losing control. See, so much of what we call disrespect is just really a trigger for our own unresolved stuff. It's about the way we were raised. It's about what we believe about authority, obedience, and control. It's about feeling unheard, unimportant, or powerless in other areas of life. So then when a child doesn't listen, we snap. This was never about the trash. So the next time your kid ignores you or talks back or questions one of your rules, ask yourself, am I actually disrespected or do I just feel triggered? Do I need to win right now or do I need to lead? What if them not listening isn't about them? It's about what you're attaching to it as the meaning. Damage-free discipline is not about letting disrespectful behavior slide or focusing more on connection. It's about teaching the expectation and correcting the behavior while maintaining that the connection should always be in the back of your mind so you don't let things go to a place where it's just going to damage your relationship. So if you want to learn more about damage-free discipline and how it could change the dynamic in your home, go to damagefreediscipline.com and you'll get the framework and a guided journal that'll help you stop all that yelling and start leading. If your boss spoke to you the way you speak to your child, would you respect them or would you just try to not get fired? When your kid is being disrespectful, you have to address it without being disrespectful yourself. Let's talk about how we react. Your kid rolls their eyes or doesn't say yes, ma'am, in the moment you need them to, or they give you attitude and instantly you feel that fire in your chest. And before you even think about it, things that are coming out of your mouth are, who the F do you think you talking to? Oh, so you grown now? I know you didn't just roll your eyes at me. And just like that, situation escalated. So what's happening now? They feel disrespected too. They feel shut down. They feel like the only way to get their power back is to fight back. And the thing is, you're right to correct it, but disrespect ain't okay. And if you want to be respected, you have to show them what respect looks like. Your kids are watching and they are learning how to handle conflict from you. They're learning how to handle disrespect from you. And if you start reacting with yelling, threatening them, and asserting your power, then guess what? That's exactly what they're going to do right back. Discipline is not about winning. It's about teaching and leading. So I want you to think about this question. Are they really being disrespectful or are they just acting like you? Because sometimes we got to be real with ourselves and call a spade a spade. But now I know you're thinking, okay, so if I don't yell or check them or shut it down, what am I supposed to do? And let's be clear. I'm not saying let your kids talk to you crazy and run wild. I'm not saying ignore the behavior. I'm saying correct it in a way that actually works. So here's what I want you to try the next time disrespect shows up in your house. Call it out without calling them out. Disrespect is usually a mix of big emotions, miscommunication, and just habits. So instead of immediately snapping, pause and name what it is that's happening without escalating the situation. Here's an example. Instead of, oh, so you grown now? You could say, I hear a lot of frustration in your voice. You want to tell me what that's about? This does two things. One, it de-escalates the power struggle. So you're not going back and forth because I'm not going to go back and forth with a child. And two, it teaches your child emotional accountability instead of just punishment. Another thing you can think about is make sure that respect is a two-way expectation. A lot of times kids will push back harder when they feel like disrespect is a one-way street. So instead of saying, you need to respect me because I'm your parent, say respect is a two-way thing in this house. I'll respect you and I expect the same in return. So let's reset and try that again. This is going to be a powerful tool for you because it reminds them that respect is about the relationship and not just control. That's what we want them to learn. And it gives them a chance to correct themselves without feeling like they have to be ashamed or afraid now. And the last thing I'm going to tell you is teach them what to do instead. This is the biggest part. You can't just tell a kid to be respectful without showing them what that actually looks like. So the next time they roll their eyes or use that sharp tone with you, or they get passive aggressive, ask them, is there a better way that you can say that? Try that again with a little bit of respect. You're not just telling them what not to do. You're showing them how to actually communicate, and you're staying calm because leaders don't need to yell and fight and cuss because you have that authority naturally because of the position that you hold. So you can address the frustration without crossing that line, but it only works if you model it too. So if you want your kid to express frustration respectfully, you got to show them what that looks like. If you want real respect in your house, respect that is going to last, you have to shift the way you handle it. Damage-free discipline is not just about getting your kid to listen. It's about teaching them how to handle authority, conflict, and emotions in a healthy way by modeling it first. And when you shift, everything else will shift. Go to damagefreediscipline.com to learn how to discipline differently. Thank you so much for being here. I would love to hear from you and what you think is a tool that moms need in their toolboxes. So come join me on Instagram in my Elite Moms channel and just look for VBS Life Coach. I'll also put the link directly to my Elite Moms channel in the description, and I'll see you next week.